Oggi ragazzi torniamo con Sherlock Holmes Chapter One per un nuovo episodio. Allora, è arrivata questa misteriosa spedizione. Invito di Vogel. Caro signor Holmes, l'aspetto alla villa di Cart Manchos in Turquoise, LN, di fronte all'abbazia di Cordona nel nord di Gran Sarai. La prego di venire. Se non ne ha voglia, venga lo stesso. Beh, dai. Ma che bell'invito. Sarò sempre suo amico. Sì, ma intanto devo venire anche se non ne ho voglia. Post scriptum. Le ho mandato l'abito appropriato per questo posto, per evitare inutili complicazioni. Spero le stia bene. E vabbè, che dire? Che dire? Va bene, si può fare. Allora, questo era? Non mi ricordo io. Sì, mi sa che era così se non sbaglio. Vabbè. Ma che cazzo. Oddio che brutto. Oddio che brutto ragazzi. Allora, a parte questo, no. Quindi all'abbazia di Cordona nel nord di Gran Sarai. Il nord dovrebbe essere, ecco. Solo che... Ah, devo uscire prima. Ok, usciamo. E poi andiamo. Andiamo qui. Viaggio rapido, così facciamo prima, perché sennò passa un'eternità. Andiamo a centrare il posto. Allora. Di qua se non sbaglio. Comunque è di fronte all'abbazia. Non è qui? Non è qui. È qui? Non è qui. Allora l'abbazia sta qui. Adesso vabbè. Dobbiamo arrivarci dal davanti. Dove sto andando manco io lo so bene. Dove cavolo si va per questo posto? Ho sbagliato. Non è che sia di qua? Vabbè, alla fine siamo riusciti comunque ad entrare, non so come, ma l'abbiamo trovata. Ma c'è altra gente vestita come noi. Che bello. Ok. Godiamoci questo evento. Anche se non so cosa stiamo facendo, ma questo è un altro dettaglio.
Enjoy the evening, sir. There is still plenty of time before the grand finale. All right.
Ah beh, hai capito? Il signor Holmes? Ok, che posto strano? Posto molto molto strano. John mi ha chiesto di cercare informazioni da usare per scrivere un articolo che riveli la verità sull'elite locale.
Can you help me gather information about Cordona's elite?
I guarantee we'll have a good time.
I should write to my friend about the handsome
My
man.
goodness, Sherlock. They made a blood fountain.
No, John, it's definitely not blood, just wine.
Go was it a guess?
Manchos is the best, as always.
Hey, handsome, I see that look in your eyes.
Devo capire cosa
Ogle's gallery has a backer, I see.
fare.
Honey, you feeling lonely? I'll be your friend.
Va bene, però...
Manchos had to enforce the masks after.
Ah, scopri lo scandalo alla festa. Prete non invitato. Ah, scartiamo. Licenziato dopo l'incidente. Ok. Duchessa offesa. Qualcuno stava male. Troppo povero per partecipare. Non è uno scandalo. Marito infedele. No. No. Dobbiamo riprovare.
Manchos had to enforce.
Tra l'altro ci vedono ma dettagli. Ok. Perfetto, perfetto. Un libro giallo. La gente mi ha raccontato di uno scandalo successo durante una delle precedenti feste. Il vice governatore Cowden è stato trovato dalla sua futura moglie, una duchessa prussiana in compagnia di giovani uomini. Sebbene il matrimonio fosse combinato, i sentimenti della duchessa erano reali. L'incidente ha scatenato una crisi politica tra Cordona e la Prussia, sebbene ci fossero solo poche note di protesta. Il governatore con 2G, perché fa figo, ha licenziato il suo vice. Quindi abbiamo trovato un pettegolezzo molto molto bene, molto molto bene. E uno è andato. Per di qua invece
Sherlock, friend, I wasn't sure you'd come.
Werner, I see you are not yourself.
The more time you spend here in Cordona, the more I feel it my duty to bring you into our world and show you all we have to offer.
And what is on offer today?
Pleasure, indulgence, relief, and relaxation. You've earned some time for yourself, have you not?
Those who know me would say I'm incapable of it.
Nonsense. I refuse to believe there is anyone permitted to know Sherlock Holmes.
Huh. You may be right.
Then free yourself from inhibition and expectation. The night is young, and so are the guests. You should try to enjoy both. It's not healthy for handsome men to spend every night alone, and certainly not in a house filled with such melancholic memories.
I must admit, my travels have proven more taxing than expected. I'm less confident in my life and myself. Time of relaxation seems a distant dream.
So can I tempt you with a physical aid to your moral consolations? There's wine, of course, and something to smoke, or perhaps an artificial paradise? Yes, something more spiritual, a potentiator to sharpen the mind. A 7% solution of, well, that'd be telling, but you must try it.
Vabbè, non è che ci sia tanta scelta, Sarebbe avventato.
My mind is my most valuable asset and a finely tuned instrument. I will not risk impeding its function. My ultimate duty is to provide the world with truth, and I do that perfectly well as is.
Duty? You've never cared about that before.
Of course I do. Exposing a lie, revealing a fact, that is a moral responsibility.
That's not morality. Morals are what happens afterwards when truth collides with consequence. Do you ever follow up on cases you solved? Do you ever see what happened next, visit the victims, ensure justice is served in the courts? And how do you choose where to direct your attention? Are there not deserving causes to which your brilliance could be applied but isn't?
You ascribe me more power than I possess. I have a narrow skill set and work within that mandate. What occurs afterward is irrelevant.
With every action or inaction, you place a finger on the scales of morality. Many in the city would see you as abdicating your responsibility.
I haven't.
Not me, of course. Morality is subjective, just like truth. There is little to be gained from indulging in it, and far better things to indulge in. Now I must insist on easing any burdens I've placed upon your shoulders. Show yourself a kindness, and try this rather delectable concoction.
Preferisco prenderla per studiarla.
If this solution truly does assist with thinking, then well, perhaps it would be puerile to overlook an opportunity to study it. I'll take it with me.
Yes, Sherlock. Very good. And now, our evening begins in earnest. I just remembered. I'm sorry, Sherlock. My mind's delightfully impaired. Please take this key. It opens the altar room, past the library.
Pardon? Altar room? What now, Werner?
Go quickly and find our Fabio. Only you can make him
Ma sono io.
I'll join you in a minute.
Aiuto. Allora, a parte gli scherzi, testimonianza di Vogel e chiave per la stanza dell'altare. Molto bene. Ah, niente, non c'è nient'altro qua. Allora direi che possiamo uscire.
Well-known and recent plays to keep up to date with the current trends.
Qua non c'è niente.
Romantic poetry and prose. Someone's in touch with their feelings. Codex Orchis. Why does this occult book sound like a flower? Codex Orchis. Why does this occult book sound like a flower?
Allora, qual è l'entrata, mi sa? Sì, ci siamo. Ma che Ma...
My God. Was he here this whole time?
Ma che cavolo è? Perché c'è uno morto lì nell'altra stanza di fianco alla festa? Domanda molto importante. Non ha senso questa cosa.
The ointment smells mouse-like. I presume it is an aphrodisiac prepared from a Spanish fly. This oil has a slight aroma of flowers and olive. This elaborate box must be for the ritual. The herbs here are Salvia divinorum. They have a slight hallucinogenic effect to emphasize the ceremony. This one looks like a twisted symbol of Venus, drawn in a hurry.
Ah, ma qua c'è altro. Un attimo, Facciamo luce sulla vicenda. Ma... questi stanno con un cadavere di fianco? A divertirsi? Fammi capire, vabbè.
Enough cigars to burn down the entire mansion.
Questa è stata appena spenta comunque, non vorrei dire,
Why don't people tidy up after themselves?
Sangue.
Blood. A sturdy bottle met a not so sturdy human. It didn't break, only...
Mi ricorda molto la ferita che ha il cadavere sulla testa,
An open wound spoiled the carpet.
Sala fumatori. E questo ce ne eravamo accorti. Quindi... ok. Questo è il camerino. A questo punto ci andiamo subito.
The pitcher is empty, but with puddles around it.
Allora... del sangue.
Blood clots are adhered to the sides of the drain. identical to the robes the guests are wearing. Props, decorations, and tools for a more detailed set.
Allora, un libro aperto.
This is a different ritual.
Descrizione di un rituale. Ho trovato la descrizione di un rituale, di una sorta di rituale con un'osservazione scritta. Dice: leggete e provate questo rituale, Manchos. La donna nuda giace sull'altare, sul letto di fiori. Peccato che sia un maschio quello. Vabbè. A simboleggiare Madre Gaia, colui che guida il rituale oglia il corpo della donna per risvegliare la sua fertilità interiore. I partecipanti dovrebbero pregare in questo momento e chiamare l'uomo che può compiacere Madre Gaia. Quindi l'uomo che impersonerà il principio della vita arriva e consuma il rapporto sessuale con lei. Ok. Messaggio di Manchos. Non ignorare gli ospiti, Matista, e smettila di annoiarli. Non vogliono sentire le tue sciocchezze, vogliono sentire quanto sono belli e quanto tu puoi essere generosa nei loro confronti. Sei qui per compiacere e celebrare la vita, ricorda. Ogni ospite ha pagato molto per stare con te, Manchos.
How can anyone accept such behavior?
Boh, non lo so.
A useful tool for a disguise arsenal.
Tutto molto strano, eh. Ormai Fabio.
Handcrafted and luxurious cufflinks. There's also a note. For my Fabio, Manchos.
E non apriamo la nota? Una chiave.
The key is similar to the one that Vogel gave me. The capital F on the key fob might refer to Fabio.
Anche secondo me. Quindi fammi capire, lui si travestiva da donna? In poche parole?
Would you recognize me in one of these? I suppose not.
Cioè, da quanto ho capito, lui si travestiva da donna. Oh, vesti... Sì,
Apart from the bloodstains.
c'è del sangue nelle vesti. Nel vecchio guardaroba. Vabbè, direi che qui ci siamo, eh. Direi che qui ci siamo. Bene, quindi è arrivato il momento di capire. Allora, questa per me
A blunt force trauma may have suffered an
è stata la bottiglia. Una farfalla. Copre un marchio.
This crude tattoo partially covers his slave branding.
Quindi era uno schiavo lui all'epoca.
This golden handle has a bloodstain on it. The dagger is heavy and sharp, but lacks balance. The wound is deep. A precise strike reached the heart. This worm-like sigil has been drawn with his own blood.
C'è altro? Ma gli manca un dito?
The victim has clenched the
Ah,
fist
no.
so firmly in his fist that it's nigh impossible to remove it. He died right here.
Ma che ci fa Vogel lì? Vabbè. Allora, Fabio è morto sull'altare. Quindi, durante un rituale. Sì, per forza di cose. Ok, parliamo con Vogel.
Werner, care to explain what is going on here?
On nights like these, it's not unusual for some attendees to get a little exuberant. It's part of the appeal. Unfortunately, it appears things have gotten out of hand. Yes, some are more prone to bend the rules of morality.
That's murder. I doubt there's anything left to bend. Why did you not tell me immediately? We were chatting about trivial matters for some time.
If I'm completely honest, Sherlock, I've consumed a rather potent cocktail of substances. My attention slips and drifts. But I'm glad I thought to call for you.
You sent me a disguise.
Oh dear, did I? Well, since I found the body, Mr. Manchios has agreed that you can investigate the matter. I promise my mind will behave itself going forward.
All right. And pull yourself together, Werner.
Allora,
What is it about these nights that you were so eager to share with me?
Well, they're not always in the evenings, but they are in the shadows. People gather to test their boundaries in a safe and consensual atmosphere, often with more stains than your typical crime scene. But that is the point. Who are we to judge?
I suppose that's fair. What about today, then? Was anything different?
Well, I was invited as a special guest. It was supposed to be a time of both divine and carnal pleasures. A scratch for every unconventional itch.
I imagine you're reeling from your shattered expectations.
On the contrary, there is still spectacle, stimulation, and release, merely in a different form.
che tipo strano.
Life entertain me.
Or death.
Che tipo strano.
Mr. Manchios is the owner of the manor, yes?
And the host of Cordona's most memorable parties. He promises even the ugliest guest a partner for the night. And for the ones with more unconventional tastes, Mr. Manchios provides other services.
What a caring person.
You cannot begin to imagine.
How did you discover the body? In between guzzles of alcohol?
I was set to perform in a fecundity rite with Fabio and came to inquire further. It was a staged ritual where he was to play the principle of life.
And the rehearsal was unsuccessful?
Huh, who knows? I found him alone on the altar.
Sì, ma lui è un maschio. Cioè,
Then I called Mr. Manchios. He was panicking, so I told him about you. We left the room and locked the door. Then we were
Filling time?
waiting for you was stressful. We indulged in some simple comforts. Overindulged.
me ne sono accorto.
Were you well acquainted with Fabio, the victim?
Everyone knew Fabio, or wanted to. His beauty was the talk of the island. Too handsome to go unnoticed. He was magnetic. Fat wallets fought for the privilege of having him. He offered the pleasures of performance, and more.
Ok.
What about the fertility ritual? There was something about Fabio being a principle of life.
Fabio was supposed to portray the beauty of life's origin. Flowers, oil. Not this travesty that seems straight out of the Inquisition.
So this ritual is not the fertility rite. What was it meant to look like?
It begins with a woman lying naked in a flower bed on the altar. She represents Gaia, the earth. As I cover her in oils, we chant for the principle. As our calls reach a climax, Fabio enters and copulates with her. After he finishes, I stab her with a dagger. That part's just pretend, of course.
But the intercourse is not?
I did not expect you to be such a prude. Are you a virgin? It is nothing to be ashamed of, but it would explain the color of your cheeks. The fertility rite marks the start of our festivities. The principle of life is beautiful, intimate, essential. It must not be stopped.
Yet it appears that someone did stop it. What about the naked woman? Can you tell me anything about her?
Oh yes, Matista. She's one of Fabio's compatriots and a performer too. I haven't
Potrebbe essere sospettata comunque.
When you discovered the body, was the door open?
No, it was locked. Oh, that reminds me. It's a minor detail, but the first time I came to speak to Fabio, I left without entering, having been unable to open the door.
You didn't have the key?
No, I had it. Don't look at me like that. I was mostly sober. I suspect there was a key in the other side of the door, blocking the lock.
That detail may very well be major, Werner. Well done. So you returned later only to find the lock was not blocked?
Correct. After an hour had passed, I tried again and was able to unlock the door. That's when I discovered poor, handsome Fabio.
Allora, la polizia non sa niente?
The police remain unaware of this tragic event?
Some of them may be hiding behind their masks. They conceal many things. But we didn't want the authorities to create more problems. Besides, after a few cocktails, their incompetence will have soared to new heights.
How do you know I even want the case?
I promised you relaxation. If there's one thing I know about you, Sherlock, it's that nothing soothes you more than a good mystery.
Allora. Quindi. Cosa posso fare ora?
You've got a lot to do, Sherlock.
Domanda. Intanto uscire da qua, immagino.
Do you know what was here before Manchio's?
Allora, scopri la terrificante storia della casa. Scomparsa. Allora, devo rifarlo perché ovviamente ho sbagliato.
Do you know what was here?
No. No. Sì. No. Niente, non riesco mica, non riesco.
Being very stealthy, Sherlock.
Non riesco, è incredibile.
Come on, pull yourself together.
Do you know what was here?
Allora. No? Niente, non ce la posso fare. Non ce la posso fare. Qualcuno mi aiuti, mi soccorri. Perché veramente non ce la posso fare. Allora, no. Oh, ce l'ho fatta, finalmente. Prima della famiglia di Manchos, la villa era di proprietà di un architetto occultista. Ha dedicato la sua vita a cercare di condurre un potente rituale dal tomo dimenticato, ma i normali cerchi magici si sono rivelati troppo deboli per questo scopo. Ecco perché ha costruito questa villa. Un occhio attento potrebbe notare che le sue forme corrispondono a certi simboli magici e alcuni muri hanno delle cavità. Un giorno l'architetto è semplicemente scomparso. Una macchia di cenere sul pavimento era tutto ciò che ne restava. Forse ha avuto successo nella sua impresa.
I'll pin them down, Biscoop. Thank you, Sherlock.
Ok, scommessa vinta con John. Abbiamo fatto anche questa cosa. Molto 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 bene. Allora. Cosa c'è rimasto da fare?
Hey, Anson, I see that look in your eye.
No, grazie, non mi va ora.
Enjoy the event, sir.
Io vorrei capire. Ok, sento rumori abbastanza strani.
Let me know if you need anything, sir.
Le scale non posso salirle, vero?
Look, I'm an outlaw.
E se io volessi salire le scale? Perché non so cosa posso fare ora.
I need a rest from my insatiable wife.
I've worked up an appetite since the last party. I'm a little nervous. Another glass should calm me down.
Do not distract me. It's not easy to play blindfolded.
Curtains do not guarantee privacy.
And you still need a crack despite being ethereal.
Cosa posso fare quindi? Aspetti. No, No. Vorrei capire.
Well-known and recent plays to keep up to date with the current trends. You've got a lot to do.
Cosa posso fare? Qua ho fatto tutto. Allora non saprei.
The sign reminds me of the astrological symbol for Mars. This one looks like a twisted symbol of Venus drawn in a hurry.
Allora. L'assassino ha disegnato sul muro i simboli di Marte e Venere con il sangue della vittima. E cosa vuol dire? Questa cosa?
Similar to the guest's robe,
Perché vorrei capire.
apart from the bloodstains.
E al momento non sto capendo la fava. Quindi cos'è che ho dimenticato? In teoria niente. In pratica qualcosa. Devo controllare se c'è qualche cosa segreta che non ho scoperto magari. Cosa fa? Ma
This elaborate box must be for the ritual dagger.
tipo qui, no? No, non... Non so cosa... Sala fumatori. Ah, ecco. Ah, ecco.
A person leaned against the doorframe. They left a smudged trail of blood.
Aia. Macchie di
A
sangue.
bloody handprint on an armchair. The wounded person was here for some time. There appear to be no further traces leading to the altar.
So, Sherry, do you have any ideas about the case?
Perhaps.
No, aiuto.
I think I can
Aiuto.
what happened here.
Questa cosa no, vi prego. Questa cosa no. Voglio morire. Vi prego. Allora. Ci sarà da smadonnare. No, questo sicuramente no. Immagino che sia così. Poi abbiamo questo che secondo me può essere realistico. Questo no. Questo per forza. Potrebbe essere, potrebbe essere. Poi e questa cosa qui, ci manca questa, ci manca. Ok, incredibile, incredibile.
Then, to ensure no one would interrupt, the murderer locked the door. The unconscious body of the victim was moved to the altar room. Once the body was on the altar, the murderer thrust the dagger into the victim's heart. Symbols were drawn with the blood. The wardrobe was used to hide the bloodied robe from anyone's eyes. The killer washed himself and took a clean robe from the hanger before leaving.
Are you all right? You're on the floor, not moving.
I think I know what happened here.
Allora. Quindi il rituale era una messa in scena secondo me. Quindi l'assassino aveva la chiave per l'altare. Ok. Dovrei capire chi potrebbe essere stato. Se solo sapessi.
Fabio was stabbed. I see nothing gets past you, Werner. Yes, he was stabbed, but only after being knocked out of the next room.
Esatto, esatto.
I do not yet know why.
So, who's responsible?
Well, it was one person working alone, and the murderer has now donned a robe. He or she could be hiding in plain sight. We have lost time, Werner, but your discretion may prove to be a benediction after all.
Allora, vediamo un attimo.
Had to have access to this room. After the crime, he used his own key to lock the door. So, who had the key to the altar room?
I'm not sure. As a special guest, I was provided one by Mr. Manchios. He should be able to tell you of any others.
Where can I find him?
Most likely in the main hall, entertaining his guests.
Ok, quindi se parlo con lui
You can't miss him.
capisco
Please be discreet.
We don't want
chi sia stato.
the revelry.
E gli altri?
No, you can untangle this mess.
Vabbè, niente, gli altri che se ne frega, le altre prove non ci interessano. Allora, dove andare da Manchos? Trovare questo Manchos. Allora.
I've worked up an appetite since the last party.
Kurt Manchios, I presume. I'm Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, you must be the one Werner told me about. What a sweet voice you have. It must belong to a handsome young man.
Ok.
Are you Sherlock?
As you wish, Mr. Manchios. Mr. Vogel asked me to help you. The body in the altar room requires answers, and quickly. I suspect the murderer to still be here.
What? Lower your voice. I don't want anyone to hear us.
Did you know Fabio well?
People are starting to look at us, Sherlock. Change the subject. I can't believe what happened to him. To me. Such an atrocity. Think what it means for me. A wonderful evening for so many good, influential, and rich people has been ruined. I have betrayed all my promises of exotic delights.
I don't understand. Surely a murder would affect your reputation to a greater extent.
Please, isn't this why you are here? I thought you were a silent magician. Do your tricks and make it go away.
Ma che sono un mago, non ho capito.
I need to find all those who had the key to the altar room. As far as I know, Mr. Vogel, Fabio, and you had access to it. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Also, Matista and Santos.
Santos? Who is that?
Santos Pinchetti, my major domo. In his opinion, at least.
Attenzione.
I'd like to speak to Mr. Pinchetti and Matista. Do you have somewhere I might have a private conversation with them?
Of course, of course. Let me think. Matista is entertaining the guests somewhere, and Santos... Oh, yes. He will be busy with the servants. Or the cook. What's that noise? What's going on?
Ma che sta succedendo?
Freeze, filth. You're under arrest.
Ma che diavolo? Sono abbastanza sconvolto in questo momento da quello che sto vedendo, Non so voi, ma... cosa cavolo c'entra? Perché mi hanno arrestato? Perché mi hanno arrestato, ragazzi? Ma cosa diavolo?
Look at you. Committed a crime, and now I have to free you, kiss your hand, and apologize for the inconvenience.
I did tell you that Mr. Vogel and I were innocent. I emphasized it in my statement.
Your statement? Thanks to some bigwigs who work for the so-called good of the country by releasing fleas like you. Thank God we have Vogel in his letter. Once I get to that goldfish, I'll...
Bigwig? Oh, my wretched brother Mycroft and his long nose.
Wait, did you say Mycroft? Mycroft Holmes? Are you the youngest son of Violet Holmes, rest her soul?
Quindi?
You knew my mother?
Not personally, no. Not exactly. I was working on the paperwork for that case.
Would you happen to remember anything of the events?
Well, I didn't make the inquiry.
Oh, potrebbe aiutarmi nella mia ricerca.
You must help me. It would mean a great deal to me if you could find any information about that day.
Huh. Got you hooked, right? You know what? Stark and the others think they're the smartest here, thanks to you. Let me get this straight. Are you listening to me, lad?
I'm all ears.
Take this case. Report to me only, to Constable Harvey Oswald. I'll leave everything I have on this table. Find the murderer. Be a real copper. Question the suspects, make them sing, give me something substantial.
And if Mr. Vogel is not a suspect?
If he's innocent, then you can take your favourite degenerate away from here. If you slip or mess with the evidence, then trust me, your brother won't save you from my bludgeon. Meanwhile, I'll be checking the archive for you. If anybody asks, then you're a consulting detective.
Let's make a start then, partner.
Hanno fatto un accordo. Sono accordati, ragazzi, sono accordati. Pincetti è un maggiordomo. Quindi o è lui o è l'altra, che ora non ricordo il nome.
Look, I found Werner.
Dov'è Werner?
This area is restricted.
Cioè posso andare ovunque voglio? Non ho capito. Beh, che ora sono un collega, però. Dov'era? Ah, è di qua? No, non è questo.
Werner, are you all right?
Oh, yes, yes. Everything's fine. In fact, it's something of a family reunion. My brother spent quite some time in this place himself.
You should not be here. I told the police everything I knew, but they refused to let you go. They require proof to free you.
Ha! What did you expect? The mighty Sherlock Holmes swans in, tells the officers what to think, and the world obeys?
Of course not. Anyway, I struck a deal with the constable, and I've got a free hand in the investigation. I find proof to solve the case for him. He obtains files about my mother's death for me.
Well done. If one has the power or will and can act, then one must. I wonder, suppose you couldn't get the proof to your truth. Would you tell a lie to the guard that enabled my freedom, knowing my innocence? Would that not be just?
Non mentirei per lei, scusi,
There are lines I will not cross, Werner. I will do my best to secure your release, but with proof, not deception.
Really? How many white lies have you told on this island? Why not for me? Why not another?
That is absurd. I can resolve this without compromises. Do not give up hope.
più che altro perché mi chiede di fare dei compromessi se sa di essere innocente? Domanda. Molto importante. Allora, no, però prima volevo uscire da questo posto, se mi è concesso. Ma questi bevono anche lì? Non ho capito.
I'm doing my part. You should do yours too, Holmes.
Attenzione. Stavano parlando. Attenzione. Morto nella cassaforte. Allora, solo morto nella cassaforte per il momento ho trovato. No? No? Sì? No? Vabbè. Come al solito si proclama innocente. La mia curiosità è stata stuzzicata dalla notizia dell'arresto di Basilio Coppello, titolare della famosa azienda Armor Coppello. La sua situazione è piuttosto particolare. Un uomo di nome Nicolò Detti è stato trovato morto all'interno di una cassaforte nel negozio di Basilio. Basilio si dichiara innocente, ma le prove sono contro di lui. È detenuto nelle celle della stazione di polizia. Nuovo caso, la barra di ferro. Come se ne avessimo pochi di casi al momento, alla faccia del ca. Allora.
Any progress with the case, Mr. Holmes?
Usciamo da questo posto. Direi che possiamo uscire. La prossima volta bisogna pensare. Allora, io solo che al momento non so dove devo andare. Allora no. Ci penso. Penso a cosa fare. Perché vorrei finire questo agnello sacrificale. Però è anche vero che abbiamo un sacco di casi. E anche di storie di Cordona. Quindi insomma, di cose da fare ce ne sono. Io la prossima volta farei un caso e una storia. Poi vediamo un attimo. Ragazzi, è tutto per oggi. Noi ci becchiamo alla prossima. Vi ricordo il link in descrizione per supportare il canale. E niente, ragazzi, alla prossima. Ciao.